Greetings, you beautiful souls. Welcome to the official Master Force Coach podcast. I'm Mushim Suit, your guide to this transformative journey. At Master Force International, we believe that greatness resides within each and every one of us, waiting to be unleashed. Whether you're a seasoned leader, an aspiring entrepreneur, or simply seeking to elevate your life, this podcast is your sanctuary for inspiration, motivation, and actionable insights. Join us every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern as we dive deep into the art and science of leadership, personal growth, and the power of the human spirit. Each week, we'll explore a new theme, from mastering the art of communication to cultivating resilience in times of adversity. Alongside special guests and Master Force coaches, trailblazers, visionaries, and thought leaders, we'll uncover the secrets to unlocking your spiritual, personal, and professional success. Thank you for being here. And remember, we are ascending.
Hello, cosmic weather lovers and love X. It is our cosmic weather report from Mother Mecca, me, for the week of June 2nd, 2024. Oh my, do I have some things to share with you and tell you. So before we get started with our week of June, we're going to go back talking about the ruling planets, with Jupiter entering Gemini. I have an amazing update for you. So remember when it was talking about in a relationship, you should see an increase of your partner's finances, bound to change. Let's go back to change your relationship status. Okay. I believe that my relationship status has changed. I met an amazing person, and it's talking about the partners and the finances. It's so wonderful. So I'm going to keep telling you guys about it. And it's so crazy because the finances are jumping and popping. And it's just so amazing. And it's his finances, which they're also blessing me because look, it said Gemini brings a whole new school of people into our lives. Yes, friends, clients, and even financial backers or two. And this is all we've been talking about, is like building our businesses and things like that. And I really believe it's going to happen. So we will check back. Okay. So that's an update. And if you need to get really into these things and you need to speak those things into existence, I want to say this though. Right before I met this person, I had did a spiritual bath, because we had that full moon. And that's a time where you want to release things. So I'm just like in there. My grandmother used to have this little brush that she scratched us. So I'm in there scratching off dead skin. I'm just saying everything needs to move or release things from me, remove it. It doesn't matter what it is. I want it gone. If it doesn't benefit my life, and then I want to replace it with something that's going to benefit me. And it just have been beautiful. When I bring this whole story out, it's going to be amazing. And this is the key factor right here. So we're going to move on and see what else is going on. Okay, so our destiny card, we're going to get on into our week of June 2nd. So the destiny card for the week of June 2nd is a whopping 2. So it is a 2 of spades. And this card is a work in partnership and friendship. It brings the strong mental powers, makes money, and it has an easy life path. Okay. So that's if you have 2 as your card. Many people do. And this can be a 2-year for you. If this is your 2-year, think about these partnerships, this friendship, that strong mental power that you have, and that making that money, make the money, don't let it make you, and the easy life path that you are going to be on. So we got some continuation with this 2 as well. So 2s represent union. We just talked about that in partnership, right? But that father-mother principle, male and female, light and darkness, And I want to stop there because people be like, oh, it's a darkness around you. Baby, wherever there's darkness, there's light. Wherever there's lightness, there's darkness. You just may have to get back to it. And so some action and reaction is going on, cooperation and associations, okay? And a large urge for wisdom. We cannot do anything without wisdom and knowledge and understanding, okay? So when you are feeling these things, go into it. Get you a pencil and paper. Get you, I tell people pencil and paper all the time, but I'm more of a speaker. But I've just decided that I'm going to start saying things into my notes section, doing video messages and things like that. But I really feel like it's better when you have it written down because you can skim quicker instead of going back to listen for something. So but it's better for me to speak it. So I do that in my notes section. All right, now here we go with this. So let me tell you about this moon phase for June 2nd, right? It's a waning crescent. Now, the key word for here is healing. Okay. It is a time of surrender, rest, and healing. It is a period to fully let go, rest, and prepare for the new cycle ahead. Best to surrender to natural flow of life to rejuvenate your energy. We try to force these things. We try to force it. You cannot force surrender. This is surrender. This is surrender. And then you allow it to go where it needs to be. You just let it go. That's the true surrender. And you do this natural flow. I came all the way to North Carolina to rest. Okay. And it has benefited me so well. Now, there we are. I'm like, I was clicking, it didn't want to go. So Mercury, guess what, guys? Mercury leaves Taurus. There we go. On June 3rd. And it joins the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter in Gemini. It's going on. Okay. It almost feels like the Great Conjunction, right? This signals a potent frequency shift from the previous month of Taurus because, that's earthy. So we left from earth, we're moving to air. We left from heavy to light because, soil is heavier than air, right? And then from anchored to flexible. So a lot of times, in the earth, when we go and we ground, we go and we put our feet down in this earth and things like that. And so it's more of an anchor. In the air, you're blowing. You think about that, right? Think about it. I mean, physically think about this. So with the air, it is just flowing through. And guess what? You can't even see it coming. Okay, we don't see air. It's something that we feel. So get out your feelings and let's let it naturally flow to you, okay? Now, Mercury, when Mercury leaves Taurus, this is a continuation. Your thoughts will be less involved with household matters. That's what Taurus likes, the house and things like that. More stimulated by the world of ideas, okay? You may notice that things happen in twos. We back to the twos. Twos as a sign because Gemini is associated with twins, right? So that's okay. Now let's keep going. June 4th, you may experience an overwhelming feeling of well-being and inner peace. Okay, and that's because Mercury and Jupiter, that's the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction, the Sun and Venus conjunction, and it all comes into play at the same time. All right. And you will be able to get in touch with what you should do is get in and be able to, because I don't, the reason why I say because somebody is trying to get in touch with relatives and they have not been answering or they have been missing each other calls. So you're going to be able to get in touch with the loved ones and you need to celebrate. This is a time to celebrate. We got a lot of graduations. We got a lot of proms. We have a lot of birthdays coming up. You need to be out and about in these celebrations. So our moon phase, I broke it up. I normally had moon phases, but it was so much in between the moon phase that I broke that up. So moon phase 6/6/24. I intentionally did this. You know how I've been writing out the word June. I intentionally did 6/6, and I love to see 6/24 because that's actually my daughter's birthday, June 24th. Even though this is talking about June, but also in this 6/6/6, which is melanin. Stop letting people trick you and say that's the mark of the beast. Yes, we are a beast, and that's why you guys didn't kill us. Okay, so and our forefathers and our ancestors and all that, and that's why we continue to strive. So it's not the mark of a beast, like, oh, you're marked. It is, we coming for you, and you can't stop this melanin from popping. Okay, so let's do this. If you believe in science, then you believe that 6/6/6 is melanin. Okay, 6 protons, neutrons, electrons. So anyway, the key word for this moon phase is fresh start. Okay, the new moon in Gemini urges us to double. There go that double our efforts and to prepare for the rewards to come. It has a great potential for growth and transformation. Okay, so let's keep on going, let's keep on moving. And then the new moon continue. See, you got to hear these things, and sometimes it needs to be broken up. Balls will start rolling faster. Let's get on the ball. Places to go. I just told you that earlier. People to see and exchanges of ideas and information. Do not sit in the house. Get out and get out about doing some things with people. Okay. Now, Gemini, I wanted to talk about this. Now, it is associated with the nose, sinuses, lungs, shoulders, arms, and hands. I'm telling you right now, sniff out interesting ideas, events, and celebrations. Follow your curiosities. But I'm telling you, as a wellness practitioner, with it being sinus season and stuff like that, you need to get on your juicing. You need to detox. You need to do those things. And I am the person to help you out with that. Okay. So, right again, the health tip of the week. I'm not going to stop it until Jesus, God, whoever, mother nature, whomever is sending me signals. I will not stop telling you about the chaga mushroom because I'm telling you, it is a great time to strengthen your immune system, get that blood sugar lowered, cholesterol levels together to support your digestive system and health, and to protect yourself against cancer, because so many things that we do is causing us cancer. We don't even realize that people were putting on different lotions, screen, and this is so funny. Like, they tell us to use sunscreen to block the sun so we won't get cancer, and then some of the sunscreens was causing cancer. So we can't trust these people. We got to trust the Most High. So how you can contact Mother Mecca, which is me, to get you a reading. You need to find out how these things really focus with you. You can text me at 708-253-8795. You can also see me on Facebook as Mother Mecca. No, Mecca C. Eves. I do have a Mother Mecca page. And then TikTok, Mother Mecca 115. So again, thank you, lovers and love as of the Cosmic Weather Report. And I'm out of here. Peace.
Greetings. Welcome to another episode of the Master Force Coaches Podcast. We have been doing a series we love to read. I'm excited because for the first time, one of our male coaches has joined us to share one of his favorite books, which happens to be one that a lot of us like. So you will get to meet him and hear agreements. And I suggest that you take notes because Marshawn is pretty cool. He's our youngest Master Force coach. So Marshawn, why don't you come on in and introduce yourself and tell people about you before we get into the book.
Hello, welcome I'm speaking as this is my podcast, but hi everyone.
Because we're switching roles this time.
We definitely are. But I am Marshawn Frencha. I am a artist, creative,
entrepreneur sometimes too.
Entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I would say entertainer in a sense,
producer,
producer, editor. graphic
Yes.
designer. And it's so crazy because I didn't even think that I was the first male coach to come on here.
And
But
that's
yeah,
funny because yes, everyone is so busy. I get it. And, sometimes it really takes something for people to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then to actually schedule a time, it can get carried away.
yeah, yeah. But I'm also a life coach through Masterforce. I started my life coaching Masterforce journey, I want to say we're in 2024, 10 years ago. I didn't even think about it, but it's been 10 years ago that I started with Masterforce. My mother is also a Masterforce coach, and she was the one who began my journey into Masterforce. And
I think
that's
you
where
were
I
our
met.
youngest one. That's right. You were our
I
youngest
was, I
certified
was,
coach.
I was, I was a junior heading into my senior year of high school.
Wow,
And
Marshawn.
so, yeah, because you came to
Graduation
my
party. What was it?
graduation party. You came to
Mm-hmm.
my 16th birthday celebration at my
Oh,
home.
yes. Yeah.
And that was so
Mm-hmm.
fun. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a
we ate a
journey.
lot of good vegan food. I remember.
We
Oh
did,
my
we
goodness.
did, we did, we did, we did, we did, we did. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was such a good time. Ooh, brings back memories. Yeah.
I know it was so interesting listening to you because I'm like, yeah, we have shared some spaces and times, haven't we? And it's been a while. I love that.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that it's been so. I think I did meet you about. I heard about you first through my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what she was doing, but she had started Masterforce, and then I think I officially met you. She would talk so much about you, and then when I officially met you, I think it was at her graduation
Yeah.
for Masterforce, and I was like,
At the
okay,
Quaker House. Yes.
yes, because
Mm-hmm.
I think then you say she had made some hibiscus punch, and I kept talking about how good it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Marshawn. Thank you for that memory. I talked to her today too. So wonderful. So now tell us, why did you choose? And I know that you read a lot of books. As a matter of fact, I had already made up my mind which book I thought you were going to
hmm
review. So this is really great when you said, no, I'm going to review the Four Agreements. So what attracted you to this book before you actually started reading it? What was your attraction to it?
What was my attraction to this book was, what's so funny? Because like you said, I do like to read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, she has so when I live with my mom has always had a lot of books. She's always had like totes of like books, different types of books, romantic novels, self help, and things like that. So this book it's always been a book that I've seen in my home. I just never, you know how if you're an artist, you see things with color, and sometimes the
Yeah.
color brings like a sense of familiarity to it. So it's a book that I've
Yes.
always seen. I just never took the time to read it. And then I remember what brought me back to this book is, so I found the book, and then I sat it on my computer desk and I didn't touch it. And then I remember what really attracted me back to the book was I started it this year. That was one of my resolutions that I had made, was that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to read one book every month. And I remember this is a book that I started to read at the end of December, and I wanted to finish it. So, yeah, what attracted me to this book is when I read about the book and what it is, and someone else that I know had described the book to me. I think they were reading this and Jambalaya at the same time. And
Oh,
so what attracted me to this book was just what was going on in my own life at the time. I was recovering from the events of my arrest from last year, and I really had to um, sit down and have to go back in my life and really think about how I played a part in what was going on in my life at that time. And then really, it's really been like a rewiring of one of the things that they say is that the agreements that we make with ourselves and how that sets us up for what it is that we want to accomplish and want to do. So that was the inspiration for me reading this book. I actually was on a flight to Atlanta, and I was like, okay, I'm going to read this book. So literally the flight was like an hour and 30 minutes, and I finished the entire book and then reread it when I got out the plane when I was waiting for my friend. So yeah, that was the inspiration.
And so what was your greatest takeaway, after you're reading it? How did it, because to me, it's so important to not just read, but I always want to apply the knowledge. Like, how can this book actually make a difference for me right now? What was some of the things that happened or made a difference for you immediately after you read the book?
Well, immediately, one of the first things that the book really showed me and broke down for me is that a lot of people are familiar with this film, but it's called The Matrix. And I think to me, this book really broke down for me what The Matrix is, because I'm more so of a visual person. So I how some people understand things through reading. I understand through reading, but I understand through visuals. Yes. And I know how visuals emit energy and pictures. Sometimes you can go back and look at pictures from like the 1800s and you can feel the energy that emits when you look at it. So for me, it really broke down the Matrix and how a lot of, and I have an excerpt, is as children, we didn't have the opportunity to choose our beliefs, but we agreed with the information that was passed to us from the dream of the planet via other humans. The only way to store information is by agreement. The outside dream may hook our attention, but if we don't agree, we don't store that information. As soon as we agree, we believe it. And this is called faith. To have faith is to believe unconditionally. Like I said, the first thing that I took away was that a lot of what we don't realize as humans who don't have certain understandings of spiritual laws and things like that is that a lot of what we go through and what we experience is really through indoctrination from when we're born into the lives that we have. And then because some of us don't have the knowledge, or some of us are still asleep, we agreed to things that we agreed naturally, to things, but that wasn't an agreement that we ourselves actually made. They were agreements placed upon us, and so that was really the first big takeaway for me, is that a lot of what we have in our life and a lot of the things that happen to us, like I said, are agreements that were made for us before we were even born, and which is our indoctrination. And then the second thing that I took away from it is really the taking accountability for how our lives move and how we choose to live our lives. Because like I said, the first thing, we are born into this indoctrination. Then the book for me really showed me how to take my power back and really hold myself accountable with myself with the 4 agreements, which the first one is you should be impeccable with your word.
Yes.
And then the second agreement is to not take things personally. The third one is don't make assumptions. And the fourth one is always do your best. And so for me, that was the second thing that I took away from it. With these agreements, when you really sit down and look back, because the book allows you to sit back, look back at what it is from your childhood that you may have agreed to, that now that you are older, you have the power to change that and
work through that, and then make new agreements with yourself so that it doesn't hold you back. Because I think sometimes we limit ourselves by, like I said, by what was already placed upon us, and not understanding that there's so many capabilities that the universe wants to present to you if you can really look back at what has stopped you and make new agreements with yourself.
Wow. That is so powerful, Marshawn. I mean, the fact that you're actually taking this on right now is going to be huge for the rest of your life. Because what I hear there is, being responsible for how I show up in life, being impeccable with my words, you know what I mean? Being accountable, taking responsibility, that in itself is going to move you beyond the average person. And then to actually be able to say, I need to go and look at my childhood and see what no longer serves me.
That's what I really began to do, because a lot of, specifically with my situation, I began to notice that I was becoming the victim to my own story, and I was blaming everybody else for the predicament
Whoa.
that I played a part
Yes.
in. And really, truly, like, how sometimes us as people, as humans, will say like, oh yeah, I forgive someone. But do you really forgive them? I really had to ask myself, like, am I really forgiving them? And then I really had to sit back and really think about, do I forgive myself? Because
Yes.
so much of I am a, when you speak of zodiac, I am an Aquarius. And then when I look at all the other placements, I am one of those people that without proper meditation and things like that, I become very anxious. And I'm one of those people that I'm always, because my son is Aquarius, and it's so, Aquarians are so forward. I'm always thinking about the future. I was thinking about the future, and I was thinking about the past, and everything is kind of like, my mind is always on forward thinking and movement. And so, because I've had tendencies to be anxious, I'm always anxious about, like, what could have I done, or what can I do differently, or just really hard on myself. And so I really had to sit back and think about, like, why am I so hard on myself? Why can I sometimes be my worst critic? And this book really helped me to really sit down and think about that, and really, like, change, like I said, change how I see myself, and really, really work to forgive myself for things that I either didn't have the knowledge on how to do differently, or, just forgive myself for not allowing myself the space to move through that, instead of, always in a survival mode.
That is wonderful. As you were talking, I remember when I switched up that mentality, and instead of looking at forgiving people, I literally began to forgive myself for bringing those situations into my life. Like, really, forgiving myself for, because when we know better, we do better, right? But if we don't acknowledge that something showed up in our space because of who we are, or our beliefs, or our thinking, or our unconscious way of being, we start thinking that something out there is against us, when actually it's something within me. So
And
until
everything
I
is
actually,
mirroring to us. Yeah.
everything is mirrored. It's just coming in, because that's what my reflection is. That's what I'm attracting. I'm a magnet, right? And when I started doing that, that allowed me, to really be fully grounded in being responsible for how things show up. Like, and then if it shows up now, I don't have to cry about it. I'm gonna analyze it.
And that's
I'm
and
gonna
that's another
reflect.
thing. And that's another thing that I had to do because, like I said, for the past 2 years, I was in a depressive mode, really struggling to find out my path and what it is I wanted to do and how to pick up the pieces. And so this year, this book helped me to lay the foundation, but also help me to do things differently. Because they say sometimes you want new things and you're doing old things but wanting new results, and that just
come
doesn't
on.
work. It just doesn't work. So I had to really really get back into the essence of the spiritual energy that I hold, and then really be more, it helped me to, like you said, be more responsible, be more conscious about my energy and about how I talk to myself. And really, because I think so many of us don't realize how much of like the negative self-talk that we speak affects us just by little things, and how that limits us, like I said, from new possibilities that the universe is wanting to present to you. And
go ahead.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say the average person has 65,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those are either negative or repetitive. Right? So imagine that they're just thinking the same thing over and over and not even paying attention. And so stuff shows up and they're like, "Ooh, where'd that come from?" It came from your thinking.
Exactly. And really too, just really like you said, just the negative thinking. And really also that this book, I think one of the major things that this book has taught me too is to trust the process. When you begin to change, and sometimes when it's not going how we think change is supposed to go, we start to revert back to old habits.
Oh, come on.
Yes. And when you begin to trust the process, you realize that everything is happening for your best interest, and
whether you agree with it or not.
And that's what I had to realize. Like for me, especially for me, one of the biggest things that I experienced was job security. And just really, I'm one of those, like I said, I'm one of those people. My job has to align with my interests. And when it doesn't align with my interests, I can't do it. And so I said it in my mind. I was like, Marshawn, I am going to find something that aligns with my interests and my goals and what I wanted to do, and just trust myself through it without having a job. And when I really look back at it, I'm like, I was supported by the universe, even when the entire time, even when it looked to be, that things wouldn't happen. Just allowing myself to just flow through it, not be hard on myself about it, began to really journal and really set in motion what it is I wanted. And now I have a job that I actually really enjoy. It allows me to learn, but it's also pushed me in a space to want more. And
well, you're a king of diamond too, so you're going to want more. You're going, and then you're what, 26, 27? How old are you now?
26.
Yeah, so you haven't even went through your first Saturn return. So you're really in a very, very good spot where the expansion is right there. Marshawn.
And that's what I've been feeling. And just really getting, like I said, this book has allowed me, they call it and it's so funny, I'm looking at the book, The Practical Guide to Personal Freedom. Yes. And I realized that when you begin to really set with these agreements and really fully work with the agreements, you do work to a sense of freedom. And that's what that's a energy that I have been feeling as of recently. And
well, just to take on the first one, to be impeccable with your word, you have to be, just to be impeccable with your word, you begin to watch what you say. You actually become fully owning of, I won't say this because if I say that, I'm going to have to do that. So then you don't say yes so much. You know what I'm saying?
That and not taking things personally.
Yeah.
And that's also been the biggest one that I've been working on, because as coaches, you and my mom told me this, and I've been incorporating it now, but you cannot rescue,
Absolutely
no
no
rescuing.
rescuing.
And
Absolutely.
I began to notice as well, this is what I say, when you really do this book, when you really sit with this book and take notes with it and really learn from it, you begin to, people and things start to move out of your way. And so for me, I had friends that they were going through situations, and I was taking on their stuff and personalizing it to me. And when I really sat down and really had to think about, like, why am I taking this personally? This
I
is
know you
not
sent me a
my.
couple of them, Marshawn. You sent me a couple of them. I'm
I
like,
sent you,
Marshawn, what you
yeah,
say?
and I'm like, why am I taking on their stuff?
Right.
They're not taking on my stuff, but I'm taking on their stuff, and this is a lot. And so
And
I had
everybody has to
to,
grow through. That's
yeah.
right.
And so when I really just like allowed, I've realized that when I just allowed them to sit with their stuff,
Yes.
I can be okay with, but that's the point that I was working back to, is that for me, I noticed that when I was taking on their stuff, it really said more about how I was talking and treating myself than what it was about them.
Wow.
And so I had to really sit back. One of my friends, we're very close. And I had to sit back and realize, like, why am I taking on their stuff and why am I being so hard on them? And I had to realize that I'm also hard on myself.
That's very good, Marshawn. Well, I love it, and I'm inspired now to reread the book, or at least maybe re-listen to it, because this work is it's a classic now. You know, it's been around for a while. You know, and so it really does deserve to be reviewed again or reflected upon. So before we go off, let people know how they can get in touch with you, what you have going on, what's next.
What's next? I have been working on rebranding my podcast. I should have said that in the beginning, but I have my own podcast, Friendship Full Circle. Mushim Sood has been a guest on there many times. And yeah, I've been just working to rebrand the podcast. Me and my content, I would say she's like a content manager, but she's someone that I went to high school with. She went to school for marketing. And so we've been looking for a studio to move, to actually get into like an actual studio and bring guests in and film. So that's also what I'm working on. Just getting back into creative projects like this, the We Love to Read podcast for Master Force, and then just.
But you do a wonderful job with us every week. I really, really, really appreciate you.
Thank you. I really enjoy it. Because editing has become a really big. Editing and just creating has come back into my life full circle. So I enjoy that. It's so funny because one of the books that was reviewed on this podcast it was you and Nushea's. You guys read the female version, and I actually went and bought the male version.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes.
So we're working through this, and yeah, if people want to reach out to me, they can reach out to me through my social media handle, SeanJ.Friendship, or they can reach out to me via my podcast YouTube page, Friendship Full Circle Podcast.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for taking time out to actually share with us and to share your insights on this book. And, as always, I look forward to our continued work together. We're always doing something, right?
Yes. There was a podcast episode that I want you to be a part of, but there's actually one that I think would be better for us to speak on that I want to set up filming for it. That would be great.
Okay, well, just let me know. I make the time. I do make the time for you. That's for real. I'm one of your biggest fans. I know your mother is your biggest fan, but and your father and your sister.
Right here. He's walking up the stairs now. So funny, but
yeah. So
yeah,
I know that. But I'm there. I'm in the first quarter. Okay.
Yes. I truly do appreciate you, and I just had when I was thinking about how long I've known you, I was like, wow, she's really a part of my mother tribe, and so much of my upbringing was with mothers, and so I appreciate you.
Oh, I do. I love that, and I love being here for you. And I'm always just a phone call away. You know that, so. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. And we have 2 more episodes after this, Marshawn, and then you'll have your summer off. How about that?
But we have to prepare for Ignite Your Soul Connection too.
Yes, we do. Like I said, we're always doing something.
So the work never stops.
It never stops. So all right, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode of Master Force Coaches Podcast. We love to read. So go get you a good book. All right. See you next time.